Well, welcome everybody to the GT Cup Europe Championship. We are here in the 2024 season. We've ticked off the Algarve, we've ticked off Hockenheimring. We're very close to ticking off Spa-Francorchamps as well, but one race to go until the end of the weekend. This 7.004 kilometre circuit, the clockwise direction, 19 corners, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. We have 50 minutes of action ahead with the driver change window open from the 21st to the 29th minute. Going to be in for a real treat because after qualifying it was Matteo Lovisi and Federico Al Rafai who were back on pole position. We saw a similar trend back in race one. Of course, it was Al Rafai who was in the hot seat on that occasion. Fabio Babini joining them on the front row with Alex Ryman in behind. But all the talking has got to be about the performance of Stinas Longin in yesterday's race. And now this time, that car is starting on the second row and Stinas Longin is going to take the opening stint. What this could mean for this race, I have no idea. What we can also tell you, Ivan Velasco qualifying now in 9th fastest. Remember, of course, championship leader coming into this round. Can they fight their way up the field and give themselves a shot to potentially taking yet another race win off the back of taking one yesterday? Your commentary team, of course, my name being George Morgan. Joining me, as always, Ewan Dunlop.
Thank you, George. Pleasure to be here, as always, for race number 2, final race of this weekend in Spa-Francorchamps. The team's just getting ready to welcome their cars round to the start-finish line. The grid will be very, very busy in just a few moments' time. And there is our championship leader, the number 80, the green, Ivan Velasco and Luca Ludwig car, being dominant so far this season. 2 wins in the last 2 races. Race number 1 yesterday and Hockenheim round 2, race 2 a couple of weekends ago. Only been off the podium once. They lead the championship by 13 points over Federico Al Rafai and Matteo Lovisi in the car 67. As you mentioned, they start on pole, so championship standings in about an hour's time, all up for grabs.
I'm going to call it the Velasco reign of dominance here because, of course, he won the championship last season with Jorge Cabezas. Jorge Cabezas is still racing in this championship, but he's got a different teammate this time around in the name of Annie Frozio, the Swiss driver who will be taking the opening stint here after qualifying this morning. But it has to be said, Ivan Velasco in a great position here to take back-to-back titles. This time, though, alongside Luca Ludwig, who has just come off the back of taking part in the GT Open 500 race.
Busy boy.
Spa. Yes, and I can only imagine, especially considering that race was over 2 hours and 40 minutes long. Despite him not necessarily doing the entirety of that, he did a huge stint of it. Coming into this one, he's going to be exhausted come the weekend's end.
He'll be very used to the track, but I hope he got some lunch.
I hope so too. I hope so too. I mean, listen, if it makes any difference, I'd imagine the amount of time he spent in the car this weekend sweating, no doubt has lost probably half his body weight already through the course of this weekend. But a massive, massive effort from Luca Ludwig, and we're looking forward to seeing him hop into the car when Velasco's stint comes to an end. But it's been a busy one. Obviously, we have got some other changes as well coming into this weekend. We did allude to Lorenzo Innocenti not having Andrea Bellici here with him. Of course, he hasn't featured here this weekend. Hoping to see Bellici back at Paul Ricard. Of course, last time out, suffering in an instant back at Hungaroring, but I'm sure, hopefully, he will be back. He is eyeing a return there. Lorenzo Innocenti, this time partnered with Nicolo Schiro, who is a very capable talent behind the wheel as well, featuring in the GT Open in the last couple of years, alongside Nicolo Rossi, for example. Both of them actually competing in the Euroformula Open Championship. But as you can see, the fans all flocking outwards. We've had a fantastic weekend. The weather has just improved day on day. Thursday was a little tricky. Saturday was a bit in between after Friday as well. But I must say, Sunday has been sensational. Though there has been rumours of rain between the realms of 4, maybe 5 o'clock. But we will look onwards. Welcome everyone here to Spa-Francorchamps, here with the cars now lined up onto the grid, ready for the GT Cup Open race. And joining me, of course, Ewan Dunlop, as we look to get this race underway. Here is the 67 Porsche of Matteo Lovisi, who'll be starting on pole position, the Italian for GDL Racing. And hopefully following on in pursuit of what Federico Al Rafai, you won't hopefully want to follow in the footsteps too much off the back of what happened in yesterday's race. But Fabio Babini will be joining him on the front row, an imposing character and a very experienced driver, Michelin LM Cup winner champion in fact in 2017, and off the back of that GT Cup champion as well in Italian GT in 2013, and also a winner in the GT side of the 24 Hours of Daytona in the year 2000. So a millennium successor, that's for sure. As we now span across and take a look at Stinas Longin. He was the story of yesterday's race.
Yeah, we're still sort of getting our breath back, aren't we? We've just about recovered from his performance in the second half of yesterday's race. When he took over the car at the driver changeover, he was 48 seconds behind the lead. He moved his way all the way through to second place. I mean, like, the big change happened. We didn't mention his name until 2 laps from the end, because he came storming round on this covert mission and took over 3 cars in the last, or the penultimate 7-kilometre circuit lap, and almost, we think if there was a couple more laps left, could have even squeezed a win out of this, but it was a phenomenal performance from Stinas Longin.
Yeah, saw Xander Pritzbalak as well just now too. Here's the number 16 Porsche belonging to Evgeny Leonov, who I'm sure will be very, very busy in this one. Of course, tends to fly solo in this championship, and no doubt we'll see him fly solo again this time as well. The driver who's come off the back of obtaining podiums in the past already in this championship. Dieter Schweppes also familiar with success in this series. He'll be handing over to Leandro Martins as well as time goes on. The number 80, this is the one to beat. Ivan Velasco, who took the car to victory yesterday after the opening stint from Luca Ludwig. And they're going to be joined by the number 52. This is the car that's been driven by Nathan Brauns, but Laurent van der Velde will be swapping in for him too later on. And I must say, Nathan Brauns, alongside van der Velde, makes quite the imposing figure. Of course, he competed in Fun Cup in 2023, did Nathan Brauns. So hoping to gain some success here this time in the GT Cup Europe Championship. But we're spanning across this grid, a picturesque outlook here across this one as well. The sun beaming down upon every single competitor out on track. The grid now being cleared here at this moment, Ewan.
May I interject on your sun beaming down? I've just checked the weather app, the local weather app, okay? I don't want to sort of put a downer on this. There's a 70% chance of rain in the next hour. Looking out the window, I just can't see it.
Well, here are the highlights from race 1 yesterday. It was a great start indeed for Luca Ludwig. Got off the line, got the jump very well. Federico Alrafai, though, however, got caught up heading in towards turn 1. Great start, though, for the Rosso Corsa Racing Ferrari. Into the pits, though, came the Mertel Ferrari first and foremost, the green number 80, as it made its way through, eventually under the pit stop phase. It was then the turn of Ivan Velasco, who went down the inside of Lorenzo Innocenti, coming through turn 1 after Nicolo Schiro did the opening stint. Innocenti would once again do battle with Alex Ryman. These two fought tooth and nail through the Eau Rouge and Radion section. Innocenti getting the better of him through this instance, heading into Les Combes. We then saw more wheel-to-wheel action. Stinas Longin announcing his arrival on the scene with a very nice move around the outside, heading through Jackie X. But they could not stop this man. Ivan Velasco would take the start-finish line and victory in yesterday's race. And this is how the championship looks as a result of what happened in that race yesterday. Ivan Velasco and Luca Ludwig furthering their grip on the title race with 57 points. 13 points behind is Federico Alrafai and Matteo Lovisi. They start pole in this race as well. Stinas Longin in third. Nicholas Salins with him too, with Lorenzo Fernandinho Innocenti lining up in fourth. So the race will very soon be about to get underway, but first and foremost, before we get into racing action, there is the formality of the starting grid. Let's take you through it from start to finish, folks. On pole position, it's Matteo Lovisi. Fabio Babini joining him on second spot. Third place, further down, we then have Alex Ryman and Stinas Longin manacled together in the two Porsches. Who will get the better jump, we'll soon find out. Fifth place for Arturo Melgar, with Xander Pritzbalak in sixth place. Further down then, we have in P7 Evgeny Leonov with Dieter Schweppes alongside him in the Porsche. Next up, Ivan Velasco, yesterday's race winner, alongside Nathan Brauns, making up Laurent van der Velde's teammate. Of course, last season AM champion. Philippe Vils in 11th place with Lorenzo Innocenti alongside. Nicholas van Durendonk starts 13th with Johannes Zelger starting 14th. 15th for Chen. Next up, Laura van den Hengel in 16th. Annie Frozio in 17th with Glauco Solieri alongside her too. And that completes our lineup in this race and field. But the cars now making their way out on the formation lap under the safety car conditions here, of course, as standard. And we're awaiting for the race to get underway. Ewan, you mentioned the weather. Give us your thoughts.
I mean, if we look outside our commentary box window, as it has done all day,
a little grey,
it's
doesn't
beautiful. There's clouds coming, there's clouds forming. I can't see rain for... We can only see one direction. Behind us, it might be black and grey, who knows? But 70% chance of rain over the next hour or so. It would, for the neutral, make a fairly entertaining next 50 minutes.
It certainly could do. Darkened clouds spanning across the sky, certainly in front of our commentary box. Now these cars are venturing in towards the other side of the track, heading down. Now obviously we have discussed this at length in the past, where one portion of the circuit may become wet, the second half may become dry. It causes a nightmare for strategists in each of these teams, trying to work out what the best course of action truly is.
Two wet tyres, 2 dry tyres.
Well, it does make you wonder. Yeah, split it down the middle, you know, go with that 50-50 split, much like the weather. Interesting. But yeah, the formation lap's still underway. Getting in the cars, the tyres up to temperature is necessary. The track temp, far more advanced than what it has been, 31 degrees so far.
Yeah, first thing this morning it was around about 18, 19 degrees, so not quite double, but getting in that direction. Air temperature has been hovering out around 20 degrees for the entire day here at Spa. Don't see that changing on our rain map, though. No rain at all today. Big question mark there, though, in the sky.
Absolutely, as they now peel through towards Pouon. The start is going to be absolutely prevalent. Of course, Ivan Velasco's got a little bit of work to do. I'd imagine he would have preferred to start slightly higher than P9, but has got Dieter Schweppes ahead of him. Dieter Schweppes, the highest AM qualifier so far here in this grid. Of course, we are without our fastest AM from yesterday, of course. Remember, Fernando Navarrete scoring the AM pole position, I suppose we could call it in that instance. But after a radiator problem, it rendered, unfortunately, the car no longer able to compete this weekend. So unfortunately, as far as he was concerned, and the Mertel team, they pulled the car out. It was not going to partake in this morning's qualifying session and therefore did not get involved into today's race. But nonetheless, we've got 18 cars that are looking to make a difference here in terms of this championship fight. The question is, can Lovisi take it through? Because not forgetting, Federico El Rafai, very useful on his day.
Yeah, and they are second in the championship behind Valeska and Ludwig. They lead on pole, as we've already mentioned, our championship leaders down in 9th on the grid, not where they would expect to be, or we would anticipate seeing them. You would expect them to start to make their way through the field, through all stages of this race, but yet to be seen, of course. Anything can happen in the GT Cup.
Yeah, you see the GDL Racing Porsche just warming up its tyres in front. The driver we're currently running on board with as well. All the cars now lined up, ready to go. It's 2 by 2. Noah's Ark heading through Blanchimont. Front row is filled with Matteo Lovisi, Fabio Babini, Alex Ryman, Stinas Longin. That's your top 4. Will Longin get a good jump as well off the back? Will it be the front 2 that lead out of turn 1? We'll have to wait and see. Opportunities across this grid order. You can bet that Ivan Velasco will chance his arm too. As we briefly took a look inside the 53 of Xander Prisbalak, heading down now towards bus stop. The safety car will proceed to take them through the final 2 corners on this formation lap. To the left of your screen, you've got Matteo Lovisi, Fabio Babini to the right, who will be swapping out with Davide Sganaccio. Alex Ryman very keen to get going as well on the outside. He's on the pole side right now as they now peel through out of turn 18 and 19 and down through towards the start-finish line. And for the final time in the GT Cup Open, we're going to put pedal to the metal here this weekend. And it is go, 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 go. And a great start here right now from Matteo Lovisi to the outside as well, Fabio Babini. But look at the stretch coming through. We got the blue and yellow Porsche. Oh, goodness me. That's Stinas Longin. Stinas Longin round out of turn 1. We hailed his brilliance yesterday, but already at the start has lost out massively and is falling down the field. Matteo Lovisi still up there and in front, but being closely pursued by Fabio Babini as they come over the crest out of Eau Rouge and Radion, leading up through towards the Camel Straight. In behind, Egidio Ianov Leonov also following in hot pursuit as well as they make the climb up the hill this time around. Babini, as you can see, looking in the rears, opens up the door through towards Lecom. Can't quite find it. Alex Ryman still withstands the pressure and remains in P3 despite Evgeny Leonov trying him for that podium place.
Perfect start for Levici in the 67, leading from pole, exactly what his teammate and the team in the garage would want to see. Absolute disaster for Stinus Longin. He is absolutely plumb last. Did get away, looked like he stopped it on the track, but he is moving, but dead last back of the field. If anybody on this track can make their way through the back markers, it is going to be Stinus Longin. But my goodness, he has got a long journey even to get into the top 10 right now.
He certainly does. He's 3.5 seconds off the back of Glanco Solieri. This is, at this moment, Fabio Babini going to work here, this time on Matteo Levici. These two are actually stretching away. 1.4 seconds between Alex Ryman and the top driver Levici right now as we're seeing some side-by-side. This is Ivan Velasco looking to move up the order straight away now, trying to challenge the number 7 of Philip Vils, heading through the middle sector, coming down now in towards the double right-hander. Velasco with the Tiger line coming through. Xander Pritzblack as we ride on board with him as well, trying to challenge the 83 car that's in front as well. That's Laura van den Hengel in this fight. As we now see the 53 make its way through. Pritzblack managing to keep van den Hengel at bay. A kick up at the dust as well, and also the gravel as they make their way out of Campus and Stavolo and through towards Corbeil Paul Frere. And I think that might have been Nathan Brawns in the midst of that fight too, as they now peel down in towards the bus stop chicane. Right at the front, Matteo Levici, and he's got certainly the lead still very much in his hands. Babini trying to close up, he remains in P2.
Ivan Velasco already into 6th position. He's got one more AM in front of him. He is the AM driver in that pairing alongside Luca Ludwig, but in that vehicle he'd be confident of making up a few more spaces. Just 2 seconds behind Dieter Sveps in the 911. They are the AM Championship leaders right now, Dieter Sveps and Leandro Martins. 3 wins in the 5 races they've completed thus far. They are confidently ahead of the field in that AM Championship, but regardless, that number 80, that Ivan Velasco car, it is so good. He'd be confident of picking up that 3 seconds and moving on.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Leonov hasn't got it all his own way either. Dieter Schweppes is getting closer and closer all the time in this pursuit for P4. Schweppes currently leading the AM category, as he did right at the start of the race as well. We've got some further movements back in here with Zalga and Van Dierendonk up the inside, heading through towards Lecom. Van Dierendonk getting the better line and the better run, heading through towards the next right at Malmedy, and manages to hold on to it as well. Nathan Brawns also fancying a look as well at the inside as they head down in towards Rivage. Will he open up the door as well alike as they peel on through towards Jackie Ixbend? In the background you can see Velasco coming into it, the 911 of Dieter Schweppes also on the tail now of Leonov as they creep out of Jackie X. It's still Levici though who leads with Babini in behind, and this is a great display of encouragement. Yellow flag at turn 16, not quite sure why, but at this moment in time it's still Levici who leads.
We might find out in a moment. They're already at turn 12 right now. They're going to come around Campus and Corporal Frere, and they'll reach turn 16. Still yellow flags right now. There's nobody on our track that is out of race as things stand. There is the car number 84 that is currently in the pits. That's the Myrtle Motorsport Melga and Bazzini car. They're coming round to turn 16 in just a moment, flicking up the dust once again. But no change in order as things stand. The 2 Porsches go side by side into that turn. 0.5 second for Babini lead. They're around turn 16 now. Oh, there's dust. Maybe there's something we haven't seen here. Was there tyre tracks over to the left-hand side as well? We'll pick that up in a moment. Again, no car showing us off track at that point right now. We are on board with Xander Pritzblack in the 53 car. That is the Q1 Track Racing Porsche 992, currently lying in 11th place on track and 7th in class. I've spotted nothing at turn 16, but we've still got... Oh, yellows are off now.
Yeah, the yellow flag has been removed. The only car that's in the pits is Arturo Melgar right now, who's been in there now for a couple of laps after lap 1, coming into box. So clearly something not quite right with that car. Maybe something happened during the course of the races. Now down the inside comes number 70, Lorenzo Innocenti, managing to brush past the number 7 of Philip Vils, and there is the 84 of Arturo Melgar. And yes, it does look pretty ominous here right now that he he certainly will not be competing any further in this race. He's out of the car, clearly not mobile at this stage, as we now watch them head up through towards the Lecom section. And I must say, a gap being built now between Matteo Levisi and Fabio Babini. Great news for them, breaking that 1 second gap, 1.5 here at this stage. Here's a replay of the start here, Ewan.
Yeah, great start from your pole sitter, Matteo Levisi. And also just keep your eye on the green Ferrari, our championship leader. They picked up 3 places in the opening lap alone, and that was the move to the inside. The number 84, who we've seen off track here, that was the Steeners Longers incident. That would put him absolutely plumb last after a great race yesterday and loads of work to do. The hazard lights on there, but there was nobody behind him to be aware of that anyway. A full 360 spin, and he has got work to do.
Yeah, you can see Arturo Melgar as well. That's a replay of the incident of Steeners Longin from the front-end view, and credit to the cars that managed to dodge and weave around the outside. Some of them even having to take the gravel trap in order to avoid it. Wow, and look at this. I mean, this is pretty as clear-cut as it gets. Sander Prisbalak having to take evasive action as we race under green flag conditions here. Levisi still at the head of the order as they peel through this next right-hander. There's Dieter Schweppes, still in pursuit of Evgeny Leonov. He's got Alex Ryman then in front of him. Still currently leading the AM category right now. Schweppes in real rude health. And I must say, coming into this one, they have been impressive. Not forgetting Leandro Martins will be stepping in to this car as well as proceedings carry out. But of course, they came into this weekend the AM Championship leaders with 24 points and have since managed to lofty themselves higher even in this race alone. As we now ride on board here with Sander Prisbalak, who is now in full pursuit.
Super impressive from Dieter Schweppes so far in the 911. Ivan Velasco, champion leader, making no progress at all, still sticking at 3 seconds gap. A big dive up the inside from Prisbalak, gets it, and he goes deep. Can he get the cut back on the inside? Can he maintain that position? Yes, he can. Just look to the left-hand side. Yes, it does stick.
Fabulous move indeed. And now Lorenzo Nicenti looking to make a move of his own as well, heading in towards turn 1, trying to tap for a position to go higher than Johannes Selger. On the escape now, the Ferrari's going to try and use its straight line speed now. We did see Lorenzo Nicenti pulling off some fancy moves, heading through Eau Rouge and Radion against Alex Ryman. Incident at turn 1, no further investigation is deemed necessary by race control, as we see some side-by-sides as well further up. Now that, I believe, is Nathan Brauns and Nicholas van Dierendonk, as well as Lorenzo Innocenti, who is going side-by-side here, I think, with Johannes Zelger as they head on through. A great move from Nathan Brauns, who takes P7 away from Nicholas van Dierendonk. Innocenti also managing to move up ahead of Zelger for P11, well, for P10 out on track, and now makes his way through Malmedy with a Ferrari ahead of the Porsche.
And Innocenti leading a train of 4 cars, a couple of Porsches behind him. That's not Steeners Long, is it, already up there? No, it isn't, no. Yes, it is, blimey! Crikey, he's making up space, already into 12th place. He was 19th of 19 cars at the first turn. He's already up to 10th, where is he now? 12th place overall, 0.7 of a second behind Zelgar, the amateur. Got 4 AMs in front of him, and a driver that good, in that good a car, you wouldn't bet against him being in the top 7 or 8 by the time we get to the driver changeover window.
Well, I tell you what, he could go much higher now. Goes wheel to wheel, essentially, while trying to challenge. Just sending a warning shot to Zelger in a battle for this P11th place, and Longin has been sensational this weekend, I must say. You know, where would he be had he not spun heading through the first sector? Unbelievable off the race start, and so unfortunate. Obviously, a driver like that, with a performance like we saw yesterday, deserves a race win off the back of it, and unfortunately now he's got lots of work to do. But you never know, anything can happen in racing. We have had safety cars this weekend. You never know, we might get something else as we now see them make their way down through towards the next right-hander. Still at this point, it's Matteo Levisi out in front. We're riding on board with Babini, who takes an aggressive line up the inside, trying to keep in close proximity with Levisi at this stage. But remember, Davide Schinicchio will be jumping in Babini's car. Of course, Matteo Levisi swapping in for the Saudi F4 champion, Federico Al Rafai, as they head out of the first corner at La Source and then breeze up through towards turns 2 and turns 3 at Eau Rouge and Radion. Still at this stage, Babini trying to close the gap, needs a decent run heading out of this first sector. In behind, you can see Alex Ryman being closed up by Evgeny Leonov further back. We then have the 911 of Dieter Schweppes, who has lost a little bit of tread to those in front, but still doing very well, leading the AM fold as now we see them now stretching up the hill. This time, an opportunity for Babini to take the lead away. He has been sat behind this fellow Porsche in front for so long now as they rub wheel to wheel and make a little bit of contact. And certainly it might have rubbed Matteo Levisi up the wrong way because he's taken a major L coming through Malmedy and has now seen himself lower down into second place. An incredible effort from Babini to force the issue, finally managing to break the deadlock and move himself into the front of the pack.
Well, I've got to say it was coming. Fabio Babini was 0.6 of a second quicker on the last lap alone over Matteo Levisi. He is the fastest car on track. Finally got the move to stick. And look at this already, visually, a gap that's been bigger than between these two cars for the last couple of laps.
Yeah, incredible, has to be said. Levisi now forced to watch him behind as the 78 Porsche of Fabio Babini leads the way, heading through towards the Lefanier chicane. Once again, Alex Ryman trying to urge his car closer and closer here at this point in the race as they head in towards Campus and Stavolo, bringing along Evgeny Leonov for the ride. Dieter Schweppes, as we alluded to, the leading AM in the championship, and also in this race as well, ahead of Nathan Brauns, who has driven brilliantly. Of course, Laurent van der Velde, the reigning AM champion, currently sat in behind Ivan Velasco is Nathan Brauns, and Velasco will be swapping in for Luca Ludwig, as we discussed, with the driver change period opens up in 9 minutes' time. And heading through Blanchimont, this is a replay of Babini's move here on former race leader Matteo Levisi.
Yeah, got the slipstream, moved down to the side. We've seen overtakes here so many times this week, and it's still a brave move on the outside. This is it from our front view. Got his nose in front, got the advantage, pushed his man onto the right-hand side, lost a little bit of traction, went over the corner, but that didn't affect positionings. And you can see already the last lap again, he was 1.3 seconds quicker on the last lap now, Babini over Levisi, and he has got an advantage, but only 0.7 of a second between them right now.
Yeah, one thing I will say is, obviously, given the fact that Babini has got out in front, Levisi has not left the rear, really. He's only 7/10 away, so a trip into the pit lane later on for the driver change window, and putting in a driver like Federico El Rafai, who is a proven champion in single-seater racing level, and coming into this one with a great opportunity in his own right to score some big points. Of course, in the history of this championship so far, they have, of course, laid claim to a victory. They did so in race 1 at Hockenheim. So why not again here in race 2 at Spa to try and seal the deal? But first and foremost, you've got to remember Luca Ludwig yet to step into the Ferrari that Ivan Velasco is harbouring at the moment. They are currently 6th in the overall context. 3 seconds away from Dieter Schweppes right now, but that can look largely different coming into the tail end of this race. 36 minutes and just under 30 to go as they stream through towards Pouhon. It's the tail of 5 Porsches. 5 Porsches, in fact, up at the front, with Velasco representing Ferrari in P6.
You'd imagine when the driver change window opens in just over 7 minutes' time, Babini in the 78 is the gold driver in that pairing. So you'd anticipate waiting to the very end of the driver changeover to hand over to his teammate, David Scaricchio, the bronze driver. And in the 67, Matteo Levisi and Federico El Rafai, both accomplished drivers, so no disadvantage or advantage between those changeovers. It's going to be very tactical. Right now, impossible to call. Here's a replay of the Ferrari up against the Porsche, the 79. That is the lead in the AM right now. No, he's not leading the AM right now. That is Johannes Zelger in the beautiful liveried 79 Porsche, and that is on board with the 83. That is Laura van der Henderdonk.
Yeah, incredible job from Laura van der Hengel to get the move through the incredible line to take through Les Combes, but very nearly coming undone as well at the same time. But she has been brilliant since joining the championship, dug deep, and of course Mertel Motorsport have really put in an initiative to bring female drivers into racing, and especially here in the GT Cup Europe Championship, partnering female drivers with male drivers alike. Of course, Laura van der Hengel looking to come in straight from karts, and it's been sensational in her own right, looking to build her platform and her career here in the Porsche equation. And fancy her to go very strong this weekend. Obviously still a large portion of this race still very much to go. will be swapping out for Alba Vasquez Redondo, who will take the second stint when the timer comes around later on. 5 minutes and 30. Now we are into that segment now. Very soon the drivers are going to be thinking about strategy. Babini, I would imagine, will take the full stint if he can. Bavisi, I'd imagine he might make an early switch for Federico El Rafai for the second stint.
I'm tending to agree with you there. Get the switch in early, get the traffic out of the way. They should have, if they dive into the bits really early, the advantage is the cars are so closely matched now on track, only 4 or 5 corners separating the entire field. So if you're in early and out first, you will get some clean air for a considerable amount of time. Incident involving cars 79 and 83 at turn has been noted. That is Johanna Zelger and Laura van der Hen. So that was the one we saw the replay of too.
Laura van der Hengel just obviously missing out on potentially getting the overtake done. Now this is a replay. This is Lorenzo Innocenti on the outside, and that's the 11 of Stinas Longin, who came back after the spin at turn 1, somehow has managed to move his way past Lorenzo Innocenti. That is a fabulous move from Longin. He has been the star driver this weekend.
They were both so good yesterday.
They were fantastic. And we got to talk about, obviously, Innocenti, not necessarily the most experienced driver in the world. Andrea Bellici taking him under his wing. I remember our conversation with him back at Paul Ricard last year, and he came into this championship for the very first time, took a victory in his very first weekend of racing. But he alluded to us, obviously he got involved in Ferrari Challenge, took drives as well alongside the likes of Andrea Bellici, who is such a staunch competitor, a vastly experienced driver, as we now watch as the 911 of Dieter Schweppes makes his way out to the final corners. Now he's done a brilliant job of closing the gap on the back of Evgeny Leonov, because there was quite the gap in between P5 and P4 earlier on in the race. But Dieter Schweppes going to work at a very timely fashion, because he'll be swapping in for Leandro Martins when the driver change rolls around. Yeah,
nice to be on board there with Babini just a moment. That screaming Porsche 992 engine, beautiful sound in your ears. And if you've never been to Spa or any sort of trackside event, you've got to experience it in person. Car 79 must give the position back to car 83. That was the incident we mentioned, gaining that position off track. That will obviously be signalled to them in their cars.
Yeah, it looked like Laura van den Hengel did actually get her car out in front when the move was made.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously Hannes Zelger maybe trying to avoid any potential collision, taking it off track, but you can't do it. If you gain the place through that or gain any time at all, then you have to give the place back. So, in my view, the correct call from race control.
I think one other you might see dive into the pits fairly early on is this car right here, championship leader. Currently on the wheel is Ivan Velasco, the bronze driver in that pairing. Luca Ludwig will take over, the gold driver. So my prediction is early droppers or early pit stoppers are Velasco in the 80. I agree with you, Lavisi in the 67 second right now. Babini will stay out as long as humanly possible. And then we get to enjoy the last 25 minutes. But 2 minutes just over until that driver changeover opens, so they get one more lap in, and then we'll see who dives in. I've got to say, it's starting to feel a little bit grey round here.
I must say, I'm looking at this patch of cloud directly above the grandstand opposite, and I must say, it looks very daunting. I'm looking at the wind direction's taking a bit of a twist. The wind isn't overly strong here this weekend, and as I said, I look at the Ardennes forest trees, and they are blowing away. Nathan Braun's just taken the fastest lap of the race as well with a 2:26.397, so credit to him on that. But all eyes are currently looking up to the skies to see whether there is going to be a twist in the tail concerning the weather. I'm looking outside my commentary box window, and I have got a view coming through Blanchimont, and just watching now as Van Dierendonck makes his way down through towards the bus stop chicane, just following in the tail. And I'm looking in the distance. It actually does look that we've got like dark clouds at 2 different areas of the track. I can't quite see all the way to the back, but it looks clear over here and darker over here.
Weather update, chance of lightning coming in the next half an hour.
Well, sit tight, everybody. Of course, 30 minutes to go in this race, so it's likely it might not come down until after the ending of this race. But still, nonetheless, anything can happen. Certainly here at Spa-Francorchamps. As now Lorenzo Innocenti looks to pursue onwards after Nicolas Van Dierendonck. Stinas Longin has already managed to get past Van Dierendonck as well, so fabulous effort on his part, and now he's in the top 10 and in the points. And I have no doubt in my mind, given the form that Stinas Longin is on right now, he's going to take a mammoth of the stint.
Just coming up, fastest lap of the race by amateur Nathan Braun's in the car 52. That's the Q1 track racing Porsche 992 in a 2:26.397. They're getting quicker and quicker, and yellow flag at turn 3.
There it is. That's Nathan Braun's.
Oh, he's just set the fastest lap of the race.
Nathan Braun's, after setting the fastest lap, has found himself in the Tech Pro barriers. Doesn't look like there's a lot of damage to that barrier at all. Let's hope he can get that car going again. But a yellow flag has come out at turn 3, so let's wait and see. We've got 29 minutes to go. This is great news for Stina's Longin, because obviously at this point it reduces the gaps between the cars. Oh, goodness me, yes, that car is stricken. You can just see the angle, the bent look here. The pit window has been postponed as well, so there we have it. We will, of course, not see the pit window necessarily eaten into, but at this point, it definitely looks, without any shadow of a doubt, that Nathan Braun's is out of this race. That suspension arm looks definitely broken to me, with the wheel currently angled in the way that it is. And the safety car has been deployed. No question as to why. Fabio Bobini still out in front, but has just seen his 2-second advantage to Matteo Lovisi. It's going to be gone come when the safety car works its way around.
There, in fact, wasn't too many large gaps. I think the largest gap in the top 10 was only 4 seconds between Leonov, and that was ahead of Dieter Sveps, who's in an AM class, so not even a direct competition between the two. So the pit window will still go ahead when, of course, it'll be after the safety car, because generally you cannot pit under safety car conditions. And another one goes, the 85. That's Annie Frozio, finds herself in the gravel in the Ferrari. They're all going off. It doesn't look wet yet. Maybe there's a part of the track that is a bit damp.
Well, Annie Frozio has got her car going, so she can catch up with the rest of the field. So hopefully she can do that. We do have safety car conditions here at Spa, so she can just catch the field if she can, and then hopefully rejoin. This is what happened. It was, luckily enough, no impact with the barrier, just a case that she has taken a trip into the gravel trap, but will rejoin heading out of Les Combes. But now the field are starting to bunch right back up, and Babini's gap has now been reduced. There is your P2 sitter, Matteo Lovisi. There's Alex Ryman as well, your top 3 in close proximity. Evgeny Leonov is going to form up as well. There you can see the Volcano Porsche just in behind as well, with Dieter Schweppes in the luminous yellow in the background. Your current AM leader with Ivan Velasco closing up in behind. This is great news for Velasco as well,
and do you know what? Amazingly, that yellow flag and subsequent safety car happened about 15 seconds before the first cars were just getting into the pit lane. So there was just about to be the first driver changeovers, and now it all flips on its head, of course.
Yeah, got my eyes peeled here on the actual air temperature. It has dropped a little bit. It's down into 19s now, and the track temperature has also curtailed off too. It's come down to 28.5 degrees. Bear in mind, we were looking at the 30s when we came into the start of the race, so unreal, really, as we now see them climb the hill, leading up through towards turn 1. Of course, the track will be cooling now as the cars are going at a slower pace. On track here now, with Babini leading the way, Lovisi in second. No driver changeover period now, it's been postponed. No pit window is available under the safety car, so no one will gain an advantage through boxing for driver changes under a full course yellow conditions. There is the driver, fortunately okay, Nathan Braun's, just surveying the damage to the Porsche. Unfortunately, I'd say the majority of it is on that front left. You can just see the front left tyre is buckled. And they're also taking a look at the rear left as well, but whether he's suggesting that something has snapped or something.
Look that way, and it's a matter of now how long it takes to get the car out, and if any repair work needs done on the barriers. So these can at times be time consuming, but again, not too heavy of an impact or side impact. So we're hopeful that this is a fairly short-ish safety car, but of course safety is 100% paramount. We need to make sure the track is completely ready for racing conditions once again. So we will wait patiently, but Fabio Babini did almost extend to a 2-second lead, so not the greatest lead we've seen diminished because of safety cars. Previous race this morning, there was it a 9-second lead the leader had in the GT Open, diminished under safety car to 0.
Yeah. And now with this, it gives Levisi an extra chance to try and retake the lead that he lost at the very start. And not forgetting the likes of Alex Freiman. What is Dieter Schweppes going to make of this? Great opportunity for Stinas Longin, who has just seen his, well, basically the spin nullified. He's just pulled himself back into, well within points contention, and now also perhaps, maybe even before his stint comes to an end, because remember the driver change period has been suspended, so he doesn't have to come in for a long while yet. He can go out for as long as he wants to, and in this process, he effectively has gone from being probably the rank outsider to a potential favourite through the course of this race.
Yeah, totally agree, completely. And this will change tactics so much. Those who are going to dive in early, the likes of Velasco and the 80 hand over to the pro driver for the second half of the race. There isn't going to be a second half for this race. There's going to be a fourth quarter of this race. So the benefit of having your pro driver in the car is going to be diminished significantly because they're going to have so little time in it.
Absolutely right. The cars now head down into the bus stop chicane once again. There is the 83 belonging to Laura van den Hengel, having a good drive so far as well after managing to, well, get past Johannes Selger. He of course had to give the place after running wide after van den Hengel made the overtake up towards Les Combes. Fabio Babini still in front with Levisi watching every move he makes from P2.
And the other thing with Laura van den Hengel, they are yet to score points in the championship, her and Alba Vasquez Redondo. Currently fourth in the AM competition, so looking for their best finish, which would score them 4 points and give them an almighty jump from 12th out of 13 cars in the competition up to 7th place.
Yeah, big weekend for them and an opportunity here to score some major points. And Dieter Schweppes, though, Leandro Martin's on a different stratosphere in terms of the AM contest right now. Should it stay like this, they're on for another victory here at this point, and I must say you'd fancy them to do it too. Annie Frozio, great to see, has managed to catch up with the rest of the order as well, just within a second on Chen, who sits in front. So great to see that she's managed to make it back out onto the track, and therefore she can proceed onwards, and Jorge Cabezas will be at the wheel of that for the second stint as the driver change window opens up.
They're just about to come past the formerly stranded car on our data. It is still there in the wall right now. We'll find out in just a second. They should be coming up to it just to our right-hand side. You can see the skid marks there potentially of the car that came off. We might get a view in just a moment. There's championship leader, Ivan Velasco, taking the wheel right now. He'll be keen to hand over to his teammate, Luca Ludwig, the gold driver in that pairing. And should hopefully, I mean, it looks like it's not going to be another potential win for them this season, but all points up for grabs. They do lead the championship. They've had four podiums out of 5 races, including winning the last 2 races. That is the car on form, but plenty of capable vehicles in front of them.
We've got confirmation the safety car is in this lap as well, so we will be back underway towards the Lafanier chicane. Nicholas van Dierendonk also watching on in behind. He'll be replaced by Bogdan Duma for the second stint when the driver change window does open up. And therefore, we have got confirmation that the pit window will open at 16:40. That's 20 to 5, which, according to my screen, is going to be in a minute's time. So it's pretty much when the safety car comes to an end, the driver change window will open up. So therefore, a few drivers might opt to pit early. I'd imagine Annie Frozio will want to take full advantage of this, get Jorge Cabezas in the car and make some places in the initial.
But that doesn't mean they can follow the safety car. It is that one more lap when the safety car goes in. If it opens at 16:40, if they hold back, that's 18 seconds away. They will be able to pit, I believe. As soon as the safety car goes in, they'll be able to follow it in, which I think several will most definitely take advantage of. Yeah, they're holding back from the safety car right now, maybe with the mind, or of course your leader is Fabio Babini. He is likely to stay out, of course. And look at Matteo Levisi all over the tail of the leader in a straight line. Oh, nearly touches there as well. Blimey, the safety car's got a massive lead now, and at one point they will just move away and stick the foot down and we'll go racing again, and that is exactly what Babini has just done.
Yeah, he's got a great restart indeed. Tried to heat those tyres up at the very last moment before he got back going again, and now he's got a clear run through towards the bus stop chicane. Has kept Lovisi in behind in second. That's the important factor. In behind as well, though, Alex Ryman coming through too, as we now put pedal to the metal now for the second time in this race now, and it's Fabio Babini who leads the way further back. We have got Dieter Schweppes trying to pursue after Evgeny Leonov in that battle for fourth place as they come through towards turn one. Further back, Ivan Velasco, and we got Vils coming in as well. In comes Lovisi. So Lovisi comes in as expected. Al Rafai will step in, and also coming in as well, Ivan Velasco to bring in Luca Ludwig.
Yeah, exactly the two that we anticipated on the first, out of the top 10 at least anyway. Van Dierentonk also flies into the pit, so does Innocenti. Zelga in the AM competition. Frozio down in 16th right now. So tactics coming to play. There's only 18, 19 minutes left in this race. If you've got your pro driver in the second half, get your car in now. There's not too much time.
Yeah, Annie Frozio just parking up as well, so Jorge Cabezas will step in. Bogdan Duma comes in for Nicolas van Dierendonk. Ivan Velasco with Ludwig now taking his place. Innocenti will step out too, and in will come, of course, his teammate as well, as they now currently sit and get set, ready to get the change underway. Up at the front of the field, though, Babini still leads, but further back, there's a lot happening with Alex Ryman in second after the cars came in for the driver change. He's got Dieter Schweppes and Xander Prisbalak as well in behind. Steens Longin in his own little battle as well. 5/10 off Xander Prisbalak in hopes of trying to move on upwards. There you can see the Volcano car belonging to Evgeny Leonov. Dieter Schweppes, the leading AM driver, very much part of this Pro-Am fight too as they head in towards the Lafanier chicane. Babini now advancing his lead at the moment to 2 seconds. He knows he needs to put his foot down throughout this driver's stint because so much has been lost through the safety car phase.
Yeah, flying away from the front of the field there. So impressed with Dieter Schweppes. Of course, these Pro-Am cars will have AM drivers in them as well, but he is all over the back of this top three. You won't often see an AM car getting an overall top three in these championship races, but at the moment, if one's going to do it, the 911, that Porsche, looking absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, they certainly are. As now we see them rush around the final few corners now. Many of the cars now making their way back out onto the track, the change on, as we all know. And it's still at the head of this pack. Alex Ryman with Evgeny Leonov now trying something, I think, heading down in towards the final chicane through bus stop. Not enough to get alongside the EST1 Porsche. The Volcano car not opting for it, but look at Steeners Longin as well coming into this fight too. He has got Xander Prisbalak out in front of him here with Dieter Schweppes in between each individual battle that's happening out on track through towards turn one. They will go. Ryman and Leonov closely followed now by Schweppes. There's Prisbalak. Steeners Longin, the faster driver as well. In comes Leonov, in comes Ryman, and also in comes Prisbalak. So that releases Steeners Longin, who will no doubt try and persevere. Of course, the driver change window on for another 4 minutes and 40, so that could give him another 2 laps here in this race.
I mean, if I'm the team captain of car number 11, Steeners Longin, you stay out as long as you can, my friend. So there is now, is that our provisional leader in the 78? Yeah, Babini, well, still leader Babini, not coming in yet. He will get, yeah, like you say, 2 more laps in potentially. Of course, you've got to be in before the driver changeover window gets down to 0, and that is going to be maybe then if it's a 2-minute 20 lap right now. Oh no, that was the one.
That's
that
a puncture.
Blimey, that is a very poorly right rear on the 85. They had him an issue early on. That's Annie Frozio. She spent some time in the gravel earlier, got back on top of things under the safety car to the back of the field. Just 1 second, but no, that is going to be race done for Annie Frozio in the 85, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think there might be an error on our timing screens, folks. We know that Frozio came in, and so did Velasco, Nathan Brauns. All of them came in. I don't think the driver changes have registered out on the timing screen. Annie Frozio, of course, swapping out for Jorge Cabezas when the driver change period unfurled. And as you can see, Lorenzo Innocenti coming up in towards Eau Rouge and Radion. That should be Nicolo Shiro. That should be Bogdan Duma replacing Nicolas van Dierendonk, as we now see Alex Ryman coming out of the pits as well. And he's going to be closely followed as well by Steeners, well, not Steeners Longin, I do apologise. There's a sea of them actually coming out of the pit lane. Leonov being one of them. Prisbalak also out on track as well, side by side now. Now this is Al Rafai, who goes up the inside here of the number 16 Volcano car, belonging to Evgeny Leonov. Is going to try down the inside, coming through Malmedy, but Federico Al Rafai doing enough to hold on to the place here as they beckon their way, coming down in towards Rivage. But Evgeny Leonov trying again around the outside, coming through out of the initial corners, coming out of turn 8 through towards turn 9, and Federico Al Rafai doing his utmost to defy Evgeny Leonov, and does so brilliantly. But look at Nicolo Schiro in behind, he's come out of nowhere.
So we'll keep you up to date with the driver changeovers. There is a car 7 under investigation. That's Philip Vils in the AM competition, overtaking under the safety car, which is quite a rare one, so we'll keep our eyes on that for you. But right now, Babini 13 laps down, 15 minutes left of this race. Driver change open for 2.5 more minutes. So those that haven't changed, they do go now. Babini into the pits from the lead.
Yeah, he has to come in as well as, has to be a timed pit stop here, because of course he doesn't know whether he's going to get another lap in around the track, and certainly doesn't want to leave it too late, otherwise he will be penalised. But comes in and will swap out of the car, and Davide Sganaccio will jump into the car this time around. Dieter Schweppes will now also, I'm sure, be looking to come in for Leandro Martins, and he is in the pits now. Stinas Longin coming into the box as well, so he'll be swapping out and will be replaced by Philip Vils. He won't be replaced by Philip Vils. It'll be Nicholas Salins who steps in, another Belgian driver who will join this race too. There's Evgeny Leonov in behind Nicolo Schiro as they break into the bus stop chicane. The Rosso Corsa Ferrari. There's the 911 Porsche belonging to Dieter Schweppes. Not a lot of activity happening there. That's a cause of a concern.
Yeah, he could be handing over to Leandro Martins. He's done so well in the opening half of this race, up to 4th place overall, and of course first in and category by a country mile. We'll see how things pan out over the next couple of minutes. Driver change ends in 1 minute, so I think all cars, at least in the pits now, all back out on track. Here comes Leandro Martins in the yellow Porsche at the back. 2 more cars are going to join. That is the car of Babini and his teammate. Where will they rejoin then? That is going to be David Scanicchio in that car. Do they retain the lead? Let's get the dust settled.
Well, it looks like, according to my screen, Federico Al Rafai is actually in front here, I believe, at this point. Yes, he is. Federico Al Rafai out in front ahead of Evgeny Leonov. Lorenzo Innocenti, who did take the initial stint, now replaced by Nicolo Schiro, who's now in 3rd, as we now see them cascade through Les Combes. Further back, there's Davide Scanicchio. So even after Fabio Babini's heroic efforts, due to the pit stop phase, and obviously Davisi swapping in for Federico Al Rafai, giving him a chance to register some real fast laps in his opening stint. Nicolo Schiro doing exactly the same in place of Lorenzo Innocenti. It certainly goes to show that Rosso Corsa have brought in a decent package to fight here today. They're now looking to try and challenge Evgeny Leonov for 2nd place here out on track. Schiro is in the car. We have got our driver names updated to a certain degree. Schiro in the car in position 3 right now, with Xander Prisbalak further down, of course, in 4th place. He, of course, in car number 53. That would have been swapped out for Lars Zanen, now at the wheel this time around. There you can see now, late on the brakes, in comes Schiro as he looks to try and break down Evgeny Leonov, coming through Campus and Stavelo before now they venture through towards Blanchimont. Still in front, though, is Federico Al Rafai.
Now, remarkably, the championship leader, after pitting in 7th place, are down to 14th now. Ivan Velasco in the car, 3.1 seconds off a train of 4 amateurs. Is there issues with that car? Did they have problem at the changeover? He's got traffic in front and a lot of bridging to cover if he's going to get back into the top 10 and get significant points and maintain their advantage in that championship.
Yeah, truly extraordinary, it has to be said. Velasco, after doing the opening stint and doing so well as well, obviously coming undone, not quite sure with what occurred heading through that, obviously coming out of the pit bay. He would have obviously been swapped out in this instance, and his co-driver Luca Ludwig will be at the wheel now, as we now see the car belonging to Nicolo Schiro finally getting up the inside of Evgeny Leonov and getting the run through towards Eau Rouge and Raidillon. So that's the Rosso Corsa Ferrari now ahead and in 2nd place of Evgeny Leonov, but there's quite the gap to plug now in between he and Federico Al Rafai. Evgeny Leonov, though, coming up over the top of the crest, trying to find the Tiger line, coming through Eau Rouge and Raidillon, hot on the heels this time of what looks to be Nicolo Schiro, who's still grasping onto second right now, as we now see them come nose to tail. Has Leonov got enough in the tank to make the move, heading through towards Lake Com to retake that second place back? No chance. Has to stay in behind, does the number 16 Volcano car. Leonov remains where he is. Schiro holding on to second.
I tell you what, they look to be closing the gap as well to Federico Al-Rafai out front in the GTL Racing Porsche. Been leading from the get-go. Here's a move, the number 7.
Oh.
That is Philip Vils, speed lover, and he has got a 5-second penalty for overtaking under the safety car and damage to his rear bumper.
Of course, Philippe Vils flying solo here this weekend, as he will be, I'd imagine, through the course of the season campaign. There's Federico Al-Rafai now taking Pouon, closely followed as well by Nicolo Schiro. Evgeny Leonov having a decent run as well. And looking to close out with potentially a podium on the table here. He's got quite the gap between he and Xander Prisbalak, who's trying to close here. Of course, no longer Xander Prisbalak behind the wheel of that car. It is Lars Zanen, another Belgian driver, looking to try and take a home race podium. And the name's now being updated on our screens, as you can see, folks. Confirmation. Bogdan Duma, now the leading AM driver. Now, you remember, of course, that was Dieter Schweppes. It's now Leandro Martins at the wheel of the 911 Porsche. But this time, Bogdan Duma coming in from rallying, moving into Porsches for the first time this year, and working with the very experienced Nicolas van Dierendonck. He's now in the lead of the AM battle and well clear of Leandro Martins.
As comfortable on the asphalt as he would be on the gravel, I imagine. There is our leader from the off, led from the start, pole position in qualifying earlier this morning, and looking fantastic at the wheel of that car. Schiro in the Ferrari behind, just 1.6 seconds, and Leonov just falling off the pace in the Volcano-sponsored car now. They were absolutely neck and neck. I tell you what, Schiro is all over the back of the leader.
He certainly is. He's getting closer and closer and closer all the time, and obviously utilising that Ferrari speed here. Now in the last lap alone, managing to find 0.7 of a second. Alex Ryman has got past Nicholas Salins as well for that P6. So the EST1 Porsche, and there's the 82 Ferrari. That's never ideal. It's been a rough weekend for Mertel Motorsport, despite having the victory with Ivan Velasco. I was speaking to Mario Grumt, and he still wasn't necessarily happy with the positions of where his other cars had finished. Oh! Goodness me, and now that's Leandro Martins who's gone off. Now remember, that car was leading the AM category by some margin prior to the driver changeover, and Leandro Martins recovering out of the gravel trap and has just lost a fistful of positions, well, trying to do so as well.
Yeah, Dieter Schweppes nursed it beautifully early on. 4th place overall, first in AM, was absolutely storming. In fact, knocking on the door of the top 3 overall. That'll do them no favours at all. Currently still in the top 3, just no, dropped down to 4th in AM right now. So dropping places and dropping points.
Oh yeah, we'll see the moment. Oh, a big tap in the rear, and that's for the 82 Ferrari. Mark Speak of Oz, unfortunately, coming into contact, and this is the other moment as well. Well, the moment from the other angle, and getting tagged actually from Luca Ludwig, of course, fellow compadre from Mertel. Now, this was the moment involving the 911 Leandro Martins. He actually got nudged off the track. Unreal, really. I think that was with Johannes Zelger on the outset. That is the 79 Porsche. So yes, Johannes Zelger, unfortunately, contributing to the 911 Porsche of Leandro Martins, going out into the gravel at turn 1. Truly unlucky on his part, and nothing you could really do about that.
Wasn't far off the racing line, nothing untoward there from what I could see as an observer.
Not at all. Fastest lap as well, taken from Nicolo Schiro on the last lap as well, and he's within 0.8 of a second now on our race leader, Al-Rafai.
The incident we've just seen between the 911 and the 79 has been noted by our race stewards. We'll tell you if anything comes of that. Personally, wouldn't have thought it was a little like a racing incident to me. But back on track then, this is Schiro chasing the leader. He was handed, he was about 2.5 seconds down. He's got it right up. This is inside the car number 78. This is David Scanicchio in the Pro-Am competition. That was the spin that we've seen, and eventually did get it back on track. Here's another one, blimey. That's oh yeah, sorry, it looks so much like Babini's car, didn't it? Almost identical.
Yeah, well it is. It's Scanicchio taking over the helm of the car, like you say, spinning where he did around Rivage. Just really unfortunate on his part. Obviously, Babini doing a great job to take the lead in the initial stint for a good portion. Here is, of course, the car belonging to Nicolo Schiro, who has taken over from Lorenzo Innocenti, trying to pursue the Saudi F4 champion, Federico Al Rifai. 16 laps already in the bag, 0.6 of a second separated the Ferrari and the Porsche as they climb up the hill through towards Les Combes this time around. And we've seen how good Schiro has really executed this Ferrari through the corners here at Spa. 0.3 found already as he now looks to pursue the Porsche of Federico Al Rifai coming through Malmedy through towards Rivage. He'll have his chance surely coming out of Sector 2 into Sector 3.
With a 7-kilometre track with 19 corners, there are plenty of overtaking opportunities. There's not been too many corners that we've not seen overtaken during the last couple of days. They've got under 5 minutes left of this race, and more flashes of notices coming in onto our screens. We'll bring you the important ones. Let's keep looking at the race though. 0.3 of a second between our top two. The car number 17 at the moment in the championship, not in the running for like top places. Currently 5th overall in the championship. 2 podiums to their name. It's 2 third places. So on right now for a best finish of the season. And there is the unfortunate Sveps car, the 911, up on its blocks and not going anywhere.
Got a tough weekend for them, it has to be said. They had every chance of taking the AM victory as well, so Leandro Martins is going to be devastated with that, as will his teammate Dieter Schweppes, as we now watch the battle for the victory resume here in the final sector. Great chance here for Nicolo Schiro to try and unlock the pace in his Ferrari, the Rosso Corsa Ferrari team, looking to once again taste top-end glory this time around. We saw Lorenzo Innocenti in a fight yesterday, of course, between another Porsche, that being Alex Ryman in the EST1 team, as now we witness them head down through towards the bus stop chicane. It's GDL out in front with Federico Al Rifai leading the way. Leonov now 7.6 behind these front two, so he's well and truly in behind. It's between these front two here at this point as they send it in towards turn 1. You get a feeling that it's going to be Shiro's chance up through Kemmel.
Now drama in 3rd and 4th place. Leonov currently ahead of Zainin by 1.4 seconds, but he's just been given a 5-second time penalty. So that is now, if they cross the line like this, it is going to be Zainin and his teammate in the 53, Xander Prispalak, who get that 3rd spot on the podium.
Certainly do. Coming out of Eau Rouge and Radion, eyes all to the front is Nicolo Schiro with a 0.5 of a second gap between he and Federico Al Rifai as they climb the hill leading up towards Les Combes. Didn't get the best of exits coming out of La Source, but still will gain a bit of time through Slipstream as they peel on through up towards this next right-hander and the next left at this chicane, coming through Les Combes at turns 5 and 6, just rumbling over the curbs, entering the Ferrari through Malmedy as it looks to pursue. 0.4 now the gap as they now make their way down the crest.
Now, Duma in the 57th, 5th place leading AM right now. They've had 4 podiums out of 5 races this year. They've come 3rd place in the AM competition the last 3 races, currently leading, and it must be said, by a fairly healthy margin of around 15 seconds over Zelga in the 79. That's the Tsunami car solo driver.
Yeah, and at this race as well, it could be a first victory as well in class for Bogdan Duma and Nicholas van Dierendonk, yet to claim one so far. They've come close. They've taken some decent results in the past in terms of what they've achieved in the AM category, as we now witness them here, surely on the penultimate lap of the race here this time around. Al Rifai still out in front. We've got the fight here as well further back. This is Bogdan Duma. This is Alex Ryman as well, who's looking to try and move up into 5th. This won't affect the AM classification, but it does affect the overall classification as they headed towards the Lafanier chicane. And Alex Ryman putting the pressure on young Bogdan Duma, a young man, like I said, moving in from rallying where he's been so successful, a Romanian national champion in that sport, and has since moved in to Porsche Cup competition and is now taking part in this championship in the GT Cup Europe, as now we see him make his way through Campus and Stavolo. Alex Ryman utilising all his own experience in this series. He's a Porsche Carrera Cup Germany competitor from last year, and also at the same time debuting here last season with a victory under his name. A 10-second time penalty. It's gone from bad to worse for the 80 Porsche Luca Ludwig. Here comes Alex Ryman up the inside now as he looks to try and battle Duma for 5th place. Gets him on the inset to Blanchimont. A fabulous overtake, textbook from Alex Ryman, and now he makes his way out onto the final lap with more points in his pocket. Duma, though, won't be too perturbed, but look at the battle for the lead. We have now, on the final lap, got a prospect of Federico Al Rifai Al-Rafai and Nicolo Shiro as they dance up through towards the chicane, heading uphill out to Eau Rouge through Radion. The Ferrari backing off slightly, favouring a run, heading up the hill through Kemmel. He will get a little slipstream drag off the Porsche in front of him here, but here comes now Nicolo Shiro in a bid to try and take the race lead. He's going to run side by side with the 67 Porsche on the large run, heading up through towards Lake Com. They're equal, they're gapping so close together right now, but it's going to be Federico Al-Rafai who holds the lead, but the run will favour the Ferrari. It's Nicolo Shiro around the outside. Incredible as they now run down the hill. They've got the run in towards Rivage. Porsche down the inside here, but the Ferrari taking the long way round. Incredible fight here, Ewan.
There is 0.0 seconds between them. We've got 6 or 7 turns left of this race. Al-Rafai, they have led from the go, from pole position. They've led every metre of every lap of this race. We've got 3 or 4 corners to go. Can Al-Rafai hang on? Can Shiro grab his man? They'll be screaming in the pits right now.
Well, he'll have a great opportunity heading down through Blanchimont, and the rain is starting to fall here at Spa-Francorchamps in a very timely fashion. The final lap well and truly underway. We're halfway through the circuit, one half of the circuit to go. On the outside of Le Fanier, it's still Federico Al-Rafai, the Saudi F4 champion, bidding to become a race winner once again. This time here at Spa-Francorchamps, much like he did in the first race at Hockenheim Ring, and now he's finding delta, he's finding time, better in the technical second sector, and Shiro is left 6/10 behind. But the run heading through Blanchimont, will it open up the Ferrari speed? Will he find something coming down in towards bus stop? They enter Blanchimont now, this fast left-hander, but Federico Al-Rafai with enough of a gap under his wing. The Porsche rushes down to the final chicane. It will enter through turns 18 and turns 19, but he's run wide. Goodness me, he's had to cut the track and enter his way back out onto the circuit. The stewards might not look favourably at that, but on track, Federico Al-Rafai takes victory here in the GT Cup Europe. Nicolo Shiro on track in second. Evgeny Leonov will take third. Drama at the very end, Ewan. I mean, Al-Rafai, victor across the line. But what will the stewards say about cutting turn 18 and 19?
We've talked about rain for the last hour. As they entered the final lap, the heavens opened here at Spa. I thought it might cause an issue. Was it wet weather that caused the twister last corner? We'll find out. He did gain an advantage, but did he have enough of a lead for it to become irrelevant?
I'll have to wait and see what they decide. Car 80, of course, that's not Federico Al-Rafai, has been given a 10-second time penalty. We did allude to that, causing a collision. Well done, Bogdan Duma as well. A first AM victory of the season. In comes now Davide Schinicchio. Look at the rain coming down as well. This track turning damp already as I look out the window. And coming across the line is Davide Schinicchio. Federico Al-Rafai. Is it a second win of the season? Will the stewards not look favourably upon it? He's parked in the first place grid bay, or in the Parc Fermé bay. A wonderful achievement still nonetheless. What a drive. I mean, even he, I suppose, is not sure about how that's going to go, but no qualms from Nicolo Shiro. Federico Al-Rafai celebrates victory. A tremendous performance from both he and his teammate. But what a final lap we witnessed there.
Absolutely best lap of the weekend. Literally to the final corner, drama. The track was getting wetter and wetter. Do you know what is significant? He's not celebrating too much right now. Maybe he knows that last corner might cost him. He went ever so deep and locked up, but here is the official results as things stand.
Yeah, here are the results. Might be provisional for now. It's Federico Al-Rafai and Levisi who take victory here. Innocenti and Shiro finishing second. Xander Prisbalak and Lars Zanen in third. Evgeny Leonov in fourth, with Alex Ryman finishing fifth. Van Dieren Donk and Duma first AM win this season. Longin and Salins in seventh. Ludwig and Velasco in eighth. Blanco Solieri ninth. Philippe Vils in 10th place. That rounds out your top 10. Here's the 11th place of Johannes Zelga. Schinicchio and Babini. After Babini's massive stint, he led most of the way. Van den Hengel and Vasquez 13th. Martins and Schweppes, unfortunately, out of the race, as was Chetan Svikovos. We lost, of course, Annie Frozio, as well as Nathan Braun, Arturo Melga at the tail end of the race. Ivan Velasco now with a stranglehold on this championship to a degree, but look at the point swing 1 point now separates Federico El Rafai and Matteo Lovisi from top spot. It's getting juicy in the GT Cup Europe Championship. Stina's long in third with Nicolas Salens. Lorenzo Innocenti, 20 points behind the championship lead. Fourth place as well. Evgeny Leonov in fifth. Nicolo Schiro now registering 30 points on the order as well. I mean, this is huge in context of the championship. Drama at the very end, and credit to the young pairing of Federico El Rafai and Matteo Lovisi. Here is the moment where, of course, we witnessed it all unfold. Taking the off track, coming out of turn 18. I gotta be honest, Ewan, I'm not sure.
That doesn't look too good, does it? When we were witnessing it first time round, it was all happening so fast, it didn't look that bad.
It's noted.
It has been noted. Oh, my goodness. And in terms of the championship, that'll make the gap a little bit bigger again. It's been, got to say, a poor day for the championship leaders, the car number 80, that beautiful green Ferrari, the pairing of Ludwig and Ivan Velasco. Everything from qualifying today to the race to penalties. Who knows?
Well, I say through the top three, Zander Prismalak and Lars Zane, and finishing in third place. Fabulous effort on their parts. They had to fight from the midfield and they made it through. Second place going to Nicolo Schiro and Lorenzo Innocenti. They tried and they fought, tried to take the race win. It just wasn't to be, but they gave it everything. But these are our on-track race winners, Federico El Rafai and Matteo Lovisi. They come out on top here and they're standing by with Alfredo Filipponi.
Matteo Lovisi, Federico El Rafai, winners of race 2 in Spa, a very lively race. Matteo, you had the first stint. How was it?
The race was very difficult, and because the weather wasn't easy, and during my stint I was fighting with Babini, and I'm very happy for the win and a lot of points for the championship. And I will thank my team GDR Racing, and my coach Riccardo Pera, and all my family and all my sponsors.
And Federico, you finished the race with a good fight with Nicolo Schiro, and on a track that was getting wet.
Yeah, it was. I saw him coming up to me, and you know. So yeah, it was a tough battle. He was catching me in the last couple laps, so I kept on trying to push, and then eventually he caught me just on the last lap. So we had a pretty nice battle, and then going to last corner, I think it was raining quite heavily down in this section. So I arrived on the brakes and I had absolutely no grip, but yeah, it was a bit of a chaotic ending.
Well, but it worked. Well done, guys, and podium now.
Yeah, podium going their way. And let's see how they did it, of course. We got underway in race 2 of the GT Cup Europe Championship. A great start it was for Matteo Lovisi, but being met toe for toe by Fabio Babini heading in towards turn 1. The combination from Zander Prismalak, who would eventually take P3 at the very end, got caught up after the spin from Stina's Longin, who did very well to recover the way he did. Babini would eventually, though, challenge for the lead and be successful, running around the outside of Matteo Lovisi, heading in towards the Lacombe section. Both cars taking a slight trip over onto the off-track. Unfortunately, it would be a terrible ending for Laurent van der Velde and his lineup through the middle part of the stint. Great moves on certainly on show from the likes of Matteo Lovisi as well as Federico El Rafai. The driver change window came in, and of course Davide Scanicchio replacing Fabio Babini, who was in the lead of the race. Lorenzo Innocenti swapping out for Nicolo Schiro, who managed to breeze past Evgeny Leonov. We saw some more action heading down in towards bus stop as well, where cars were getting tagged. The 82 getting caught up as well in all the madness heading around bus stop chicane, and more of it was happening out of La Source as well. The 911 belonging to both Dieter Schweppes and of course Leandro Martins, that would eventually see them go out of the race. Definitely did not go their way this time around. Federico El Rafai in a close fought fight with the Rosso Corsa Ferrari. It would see the GTL Porsche make its way out to the final corner and take the on-track victory in the checkered flag, with the Rosso Corsa Ferrari of Nicolo Schiro in second place. And that brings us to the podium celebrations. And I must say now, with the rain starting to show itself in the final echelons of the weekend, we've got to give credits as well to our fantastic drivers that have done their very utmost to obtain the best results this campaign so far. And what a great account they have certainly given. I've got to give credit to the team at the very top. Federico Al Rafai, what a talent. And coming in here with Matteo Levisi, GDL Racing, who have brought Porsches in time and time again over the last few seasons, campaigns, fighting up against the likes of the Q1 Track Racing team, as well as EST1 Racing Porsche, SP Racing as well from Romania. But today, it's definitely GDL's time to celebrate, especially after going back-to-back, after winning back in Hockenheim and now taking a victory in the last race in the GT Cup Europe round at Spa. Brilliant P3 as well for Lars Zanen, who brought it home in great style alongside Zander Prisbalak. They, of course, as I said before, caught up in all the chaos on the opening lap. But it's the tale of two youngsters here, Ewan.
From drama from start to end. And here are your national anthems.
So there we have it, Federico Al Rafai, your race winner alongside Matteo Levisi, and an immense battle for both drivers concerned. Trophies being presented by the representatives at Michelin, and the first recipients being Lars Zanen and Zander Prisbalak. A great effort on their part to recover the way they did. Rosso Corsa can also celebrate. Lorenzo Innocenti alongside Nicolo Schira. I'm sure Andrea Bellici is watching on, as delighted as they are at the fact that they've managed to scoop yet more points for the Rosso Corsa unit. And trophy presentation as well to our winners, Federico Al Rafai and Matteo Levisi, who have done it in fantastic style after a close-fought fight towards the very end. And GDL Racing also celebrating victory as a team too. Just a great moment, really, Ewan. And I must say, the perfect way to close out a weekend.
Yeah, fantastic. From start to finish, both races, different winners, real mix-up in the championship table as well. And just as they pick up their trophies, the sun again once shines.
It does shine, in fact, and you can just see the beam on the podium right now. They're spraying the champagne. And obviously a fantastic result for GDL, and they'll look ahead now to the next round. Of course, we're heading to Paul Ricard for the next round of the GT Cup Europe Championship. Vastly different track, no undulation as opposed to what we have here at Spa. Obviously, this is very much a roller coaster circuit, not necessarily as much of a roller coaster as fast-paced as what Portimao is, but vastly different in terms, like I said, of the elevation changes. Paul Ricard very flat with plenty of openings, no doubt, plenty of runoff. Of course, we do have the AMP podium to bring you as well. Bogdan Duma, the victor, alongside Nicholas van Dierendonck alike. And those two have certainly been sensational this weekend, especially in this race. Duma transitioning from the rallying side of motorsport, now successful in Porsche machinery. There is Nicholas van Dierendonck as well. P3 in the AM category for Philippe Vils in his home race this weekend. And for Team Speed Lover, of course, many of these drivers do love speed, of course. Second place going to Glauco Solieri. A wonderful performance on part of him too. But it's the pairing of Bogdan Duma, the Romanian rally driver, alongside Nicholas van Dierendonck, who will accept the AM Winners' Prize. Philippe Vils accepting the P3 trophy first and foremost. But of course, folks, as Glauco Solieri accepts his, we will see Van Dierendonck and Bogdan Duma accept his AM Winners' Trophy as well. And they'll look to go and do it again when we revisit track action back at Paul Ricard in the next round. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you at Le Castellet.
Et nous, eh bien, on se retrouve en cabine pour vous commenter la toute dernière course de ce meeting. Ce sera donc l'Euro Formula Open d'ici quelques minutes. Et on l'attendait, on l'avait aperçu sur nos radars météo, elle arrive un peu plus tard que prévu, 17h15, on estimait à 16h30 tout à l'heure. Mais donc la pluie fait son retour pour cette toute dernière course du meeting et de la journée.